Hey guys, Nabil here with the fitness program at Dolby. Today I'm going to have a short bite-sized mobility routine for you guys. It's going to consist of about 7 movements. We're going to go 45 seconds on, 15 off. Super simple, just to loosen things up from sitting down all day. So we'll work through the upper body all the way down through the lower body. And we'll actually be standing up the whole time, so no need to move around too much. So first thing, we're going to have our shoulder gaiters. So this is what we're going to do here. Standing up nice and tall with your feet underneath your hips, go ahead and take your knuckles right on the temples of your forehead. From this position, shoulders are down and back, standing nice and tall. We're pulling our elbows out to the side, squeezing the shoulder blades together, and then bring them forward, putting those elbows together, or as close as we can get. Shifting back and forth between these two positions. Go ahead and start. So, keep those shoulders down the whole time as we're moving back and forth with our elbows, keeping our knuckles on our temples the entire time. And as we're standing, don't forget to keep your core nice and braced so your rib cage doesn't flare up as we bring these elbows back. Let's do a couple more here. Really squeeze those shoulder blades together and bring those elbows really tight in front of you. Last one. Good. Next thing we're going to have is a dynamic pec stretch. So that helped open up our shoulders a little bit. Now we're going to help open up our chest a little bit more. So what we're going to do is standing nice and tall again, feet right underneath the hips. Take your hands, clasp them together, interlocking the fingers. We're going to drive our knuckles towards the ground. All we're going to do is get those shoulders down and back in a good position. Keep your core nice and braced, glutes are squeezed. From here, all you're going to do is lift your hands up off your back as high as you can. Pause for a second and then bring them back down. So go ahead and start. Same thing here. As we lift these hands up off of our tailbone, our shoulders are going to want to round forward. So do your best to keep those shoulders pinned down and back as we lift the hands off the tailbone. Some people can get really high. Some people only a little bit off the tailbone. Just like me, I can't go too far. But just go as far as you can. And really try and keep those shoulders down. Keep that core nice and braced. And squeeze those glutes so everything's nice and stacked and you have a solid base of support as we move through this movement. Let's do a couple more here. Last one. Good. Go ahead and shake your arms out. Next thing we're going to do is a dynamic quad stretch. So focusing on our quads and some hip flexors here. Standing up nice and tall. We're going to balance on our left foot. We're going to lift the right foot up, grab it with the right hand, pull that heel towards our butt. And as we do that, we're going to lift up with the left hand. Pause for a second, and then you just alternate sides. So grab left ankle with the left hand, pull towards your body, reach up with the right. And we're just going to alternate sides here. Move through this nice and slow, just so that I can really focus on the stretch so that we don't lose our balance. And as we're reaching up, just try and keep that rib cage down again. So that rib cage doesn't flare, so brace that core. And squeeze the glute of the leg that you're pulling back. It'll help get a little bit of an extra stretch in the front part of our leg. Let's do one more on this side, and last one on this side. Good, go ahead and shake your legs out. Next thing we're going to do is a hamstring sweep. Gave some attention to the front of our legs. Now we want to give some attention to the back of our legs. So standing up nice and tall again, feet underneath the hips. All you're going to do is point your toes up in the air, bring your heel slightly ahead of your other foot. And from here, all you're going to do is hinge at the hips, let that torso come forward, reach down towards your toes as far as you can comfortably go, just until you feel a stretch, and then come back up. Alternate to the other foot, toe up, heel down, reach towards that foot just as far as you can go, or as far as you can to feel that stretch, and alternating sides here. Let's move through this. As you hinge, right? Shoot those hips straight back like you're trying to touch the wall behind you as that torso comes forward. And keep that core nice and braced so we can keep a good hinge. A slight bend in the knee as we come down in this front leg is okay. Let's do a few more here. Moving back and forth, and again, just go as far down as you comfortably can. Don't overexert that hamstring, just go until you feel a light stretch. Last one. Good. Again, shake the legs out a little bit. Next thing we're going to have is a lateral hip opener. So Still standing, but now we're gonna get a nice wide stance, all right? Wider than shoulder width. Try and have your toes pointed straight forward. They can be out a little bit, but do your best to be straight ahead. From here, we're gonna squat down, just so comfortable depth, maybe a quarter squat. From here, we're gonna shift to one side, straightening that left leg, bending to the right, and then shift to the left. So whatever side we shift to, the opposite leg is straightening out. So here you should feel a nice stretch on the inside part of your leg, maybe even a little bit of the back of your leg. Back and forth here. Hands right on your hips, shoulders are down. Good. Trying to stay at the same level the whole time as we shift back and forth. We're not coming up. Good. Stay down. There we go. Just breathe through this nice and easy. Keep that core braced. Shoulders down. Nice. And really grip the ground with your toes. Or if you're in your shoes, just focus on really engaging your feet. Shifting back and forth here still. There we go. Let's do a couple more here. 1 and 2. There we go. Shake those legs out one last time. Okay. Now we did a lot of mobilization with a little bit of activation. Let's get a little bit more active now. So we're going to do split squats. We'll start with that left leg forward, right leg back. Nice narrow split stance. From this position, make sure your front foot isn't too far forward, that you feel a stretch in this back leg, or too close that that front heel comes up. So from here, all we're going to do is brace the core, look straight ahead, nice and tall, drop that back knee to the ground, drive that front foot into the ground to come back up to our starting position. So just breathe nice and easy through this. Hands can be on the hips or out in front of you, whatever's comfortable. Just keep that core nice and braced, chest upright, looking straight ahead. Good. Drive into that front foot to come back up. There we go. Let's do a couple more here. It's 1, last 1, 2. And we'll just switch sides. Right foot forward, left leg back, same thing. Find that perfect width for your stance, and then drop that back knee straight to the ground. Nice and tall, looking straight ahead. Core is nice and braced. There we go. Drive that front foot into the ground to come back up to our starting position. Let's do a couple more. It's 1, last 1, 2. Good. Shake those legs out. Alright guys, that's our mobility routine for the day. In the description below, I'll have all the movements linked and written out. So reference that for a little bit more context. Otherwise, thanks for coming out.